So let's start. Hello, my name is Leonid Albrekht. I work as a cluster group lead engineer in Postgres Professional. Here in cluster group we create HA architecture for our clients for their needs on top of their requirements. I've been clustering around 10 years. I loved Postgres 10 years, and actually our company Postgres Professional will celebrate 10 years this year. So we are pretty the same age. Please feel free to scan the QR code to my Telegram. I will happy to answer your questions, if any, and if I can't, I will at least direct you to the documentation. Today we have some giveaways, so please pay attention during my presentation. One giveaway will be for the in my presentation. There will be one mistake that I put it in without purpose, but I saw it on today morning. But if you saw this error on one of my slides, I didn't tell you on which of slide. But if you saw it, I will give you one first giveaway, and the second giveaway I have one question on the top of my topics on the top of my talk. I will have one question, and if you answer correctly, I will give you another giveaway. So today I want to talk about availability future in Postgres Pro, our integrated solution called BiHA, or in full name built-in high availability. Also, we will talk about client connection to the BiHA cluster and how to maintain your backups. Here is a brief agenda about what you will learn today. First of all, I have a reminder about how Postgres physical replication works. I told we talk about what BiHA is, how it differs from other HA solutions. We will see some standard BiHA architecture cases. We'll talk about how we switch in roles within BiHA cluster, and at the end I have some topics about how to maintain your client's connection to the cluster and how to make efficient backup of your cluster with our solutions. First, since we are going to talk about high availability technologies, I'd like to talk about something that Postgres Professional has. First of all, multi-master. It's when you have a cluster of multiple active servers. It works on the top of the logical replication. There's very good horizontal scalability in this solution. In such cluster, in one of the nodes fails, the cluster will continue to operate in read-write mode because the other nodes are in the same has the same set of data, and they are also accepts read-write connections. Yes. Also, we have Shardman. Sharding is a database design principle where rows of a table are held separately in different databases that are potentially managed by different DBMS. So the main purpose of Shardman is to make querying shared distributed database efficiency and ease the complexity of managing them. In truth, it's more about performance and scalability, but since we can divide our databases into several parts and creating replicas for such shards, the failure of one of the part will not lead to the service outage too. So this some sort of high availability options too. Data reliability is not only algorithms and tools built into the database software, but also backup tools. For this purpose, we have PGConf Backup, and I will talk about it a bit today. Also, as I mentioned before, we have physical replication. PostgreSQL has physical replication. Everything is standard here. It helps again hardware and software failures. It helps in case of disaster. Yes, and also we have some sets of features that improve the standard functionality of physical replication. For example, we have a parameter named page repair, which allows you to restore pages that corrupted on your leader node from the copy of these pages from the replica node. So, such interesting feature. And the last but not least, our built-in availability solution, which we briefly called BiHA. It's what we are going to talk about today. Before we dive into BiHA, I would like to remind those who don't know and those who knows how physical replication works in PostgreSQL. Physical replication involves transferring WAL files from the leader server to the replicas and then applying them to it. It can be asynchronous replication, when your leader server sends WAL files to the replicas and does not make sure they reached the target or not. It does not make sure. And synchronous replication. Synchronous replication is when the leader servers wait for the response from the replica and only then considers to commit successful your query. Yes. A replica is just a node server that are waiting for the leader server to crash or so on. It can be used for many purposes. It can be used for readings. You can create reports from there. You can create temporary in-memory tables and even write to these temporary tables. You can create backups from your replica to not put additional load on your infrastructure, on your leader server, on your network that work in between leader and replicas. So the replicas, of course, can be geographically distributed from the leader node to create a HA. In physical replication, we have some limitations. Data flows only one direction only. It means that the replicas are almost is a leader copy. The only exception is cascading replications, when we can create replication from the existing replica, from leader, replica, another replica, and so on. So the another limitations, we need a binary server compatibility. It means that we can create replication, physical replication between, for example, Windows and Unix-like operation system. And last, the only whole cluster can be replicated with physical replication. Due to how binary replication works, yes, think of it as a file-to-file copy. Yes. In general, physical replication allows you to create roughly the following architecture that you see on the slide, where we can allow our application and users to connect to different cluster nodes to perform different tasks. For example, our application write only to the leader. Our CRM system gets the data from the synchronous replica. We create reports from the synchronous replica in order to not to put the additional load on our leader and create backup from it. Of course, this architecture is very basic. You can achieve a more complex architecture to add some in-memory cache databases here, to put some Redis or Kafka here, your applications, and so on and so on. It's just a basic example. In the standard scheme of physical replication, when a leader fails, no replica will become a new leader, so without manual intervention. So the standard PostgreSQL doesn't has any automatic failover of the within the cluster. In some cases, this is good. Automation doesn't help everywhere, but often we have to describe some procedures on how to make a manual failover, wake up your database administrators at the night, yes, write the self-written scripts and so on. So thus we came to the point where we want such role switching to be done automatically, without manual intervention of our engineers. This is where various cluster software products came from. They can detect a problem, they can change the role of the replica in case of isolation of or failure of our leader node, and importantly protect them from the split brain. Such tools are like Patroni, Stolen, Kerosene, PG after failover, etc. Here we are with a smooth transition to BiHA. What BiHA is about in a nutshell. It's built on top of physical replication I talked about earlier. It has a leader-follower model. It is essentially an extension in the Postgres Pro Enterprise Edition from version 60 and newer. It's able to do automatic role switching in a cluster. Manual switching is also automatic switching is also possible, by the way. It does not require any additional external software for the cluster to get it to work. We talk about it a bit later. It has an interface to work with the cluster named BiHA CTL, and doesn't require any additional licenses other than what you already have. Typically, clustered software complicates your architecture. Why? Because you have to install new agents. Yes, you need to install, configure, and maintain some external dependencies. For example, DCS cluster, it's etcd, Zookeeper, console, and so on for the Patroni to get to work, for example. You need to configure network channels for these external dependencies, manage these network channels, open ports, configure additional firewall rules, and so on and so forth. Moreover, the external cluster software such etcd requires its own high availability. Yes, you don't want your database's cluster to crash because of DCS issues. So you need to create and maintain the DCS cluster with minimal 3 machines, in other case 5 machines, 5 nodes. You need to secure it with HTTPS and so on and so on. Also maintain this HA cluster. Due to the facts that I said above, your monitoring became more complicated. You want to check your external software healthiness, check new metrics, create new alerts, store more logs, etc., etc. Sometimes you have to wait for the cluster software to support a new version of PostgreSQL. Also, I have to say, for example, Patroni supports the beta stage, but other software doesn't quite yet have a good support for their software. Okay. Remember the slide with the physical replication? Well, the basic BiHA architecture fits this picture perfectly. and the BiHA architecture is practically no different from the classic physical replication. We don't need any additional servers, no agents, and other third-party software, which greatly simplifies the final architecture of your database cluster. By the way, we have a set of Ansible roles and bash script that allows you to quickly create, deploy this BiHA cluster. You can do some basic things with this cluster as for the physical replication. You can create a backup from the replicas. You can create reports from the synchronous, asynchronous replicas. You can gather the reports and connect your applications to any of the nodes in the cluster. Okay, let's do some deep dive into BiHA. BiHA is built into the PostgresPro Enterprise Edition, as I said earlier, and uses physical replication. It consists of one leader node and several follower nodes, yes, or replicas. We named it followers. Constructing such cluster requires minimal efforts from your DBA, as we use BiHA CTL for this. On working BiHA nodes, you can see a process named BiHA worker. It's responsible for all BiHA actions like failovers, switchovers, configuration management, configuration changing, and so on. BiHA uses special protocol named BCP, BiHA Control Protocol. It provides a communication between all nodes in the cluster with messages, consists of heartbeats, commands that your administrator puts via the stored functions, and so on, and has a statuses of all nodes in the BiHA cluster. For a maximum availability, BiHA processes update information about cluster configuration and statuses of cluster nodes in special structure and saves it on to the configuration file in the pgdata directory, pgdata folder. BiHA.conf and BiHA.state files. Please do not touch these files because they are automatically updated by the BiHA. For example, if your database are corrupted or it fails somehow, and these files are state on the volume, in your volume, in your PG data, when you restore your PG data, and put this configuration files to this directory, this node will automatically rejoin the cluster and get the cluster configuration from these files. Normally, all configuration is stored inside the databases. We have a separate database, BiHA-DB, where all parameters, configuration, and so on are stored for the BiHA. BiHA solution is built on the basis of Raft protocol, which is a consensus protocol. One of the main concepts of it's quorum concept. Quorum is a minimal number of nodes that will participate in the leader election, yes? If you have, for example, a cluster with 3 nodes, where n quorum is equal to, and n quorum is a BiHA internal parameter that you can change manually, and one follower node is down, the cluster leader will continue to operate. Okay, remembering what I said just now, will there be an election for a new leader? Well, I have a I have a question to you. If we have next slide, yes. if our n quorum is equals 2 in the 3-model 3-cluster node, if there will be a new leader election, if our leader goes down, if there will be a new leader election. Who tries? One of the followers will become a new leader. Yes. Thank you. A leader node cannot operate, old leader node, yes, we cannot operate without quorum, and the lectures are based on the whole cluster quorum. Promotion is done automatically. The cluster node with the most recent LSN number becomes the new leader. Yes. Besides the quorum, there is another important topic in Raft named term. In a simple word, it's a generation. After the new leader node is elected, the term value is incremented by 1 for all the cluster nodes. On the picture, you can see that the old leader that was demoted has term equals 1. And 2 for all of other nodes that operates normally in the BiHA cluster, for new leader and for the follower. Again, cluster quorum and the term concepts are implemented in BiHA based on the Raft consensus algorithm. If after elections of the new leader, the old leader returns to the cluster and its terms lower than the new cluster term, then in order to protect the cluster from a split brain, this old leader cannot be a leader again and switches to the follower mode, to the read-only mode, and follows the existing leader. Yes, once again about BiHA control protocol. It's used for exchanging service information between the cluster nodes. Every node has a BiHA worker process that uses BiHA control protocol in red on the picture and execute continuous monitoring of the statuses of the cluster nodes. BiHA also supports the 2+1 configuration, the 2 nodes with user data and 1 empty node that operates like a referee and participate in elections. Referee, it's an interesting feature, can be also set up to receive wall files from the leader node, so it will be some sort of wall archive. And in some circumstances, follower can try to get the missing wall from the referee node. Yes, for example, when our replica is stopped work for some time and the wall files are truncated, rotated on our leader, after that our replica comes up and the wall files that needed to the replica are missed, yes, on the leader. It can go to the wall archive, to the referee, and get these wall files from there. BiHA also, of course, supports manual switchover. You can change the leader role to the one of the follower, whichever you want. For what do you need a switchover? For example, to put your leader into a maintenance mode and done some maintenance task on it, yeah, to, for example, to change the storage, to upgrade, to do a minor upgrade of your old leader, and so on. For example, to assign a leader to a preferred host, you always, maybe in some circumstances, you want your leader to be on the node where you have has more CPU, RAM, has a better storage, and so on. But it's not good case. It's just an example. And the last case, you can, of course, you can return the leader role to an old leader. It's a similar case for the second, but maybe you want it. Switchover basically is provided by a SQL function BiHA set leader. Switchover is implemented by the steps listed on the slides. So first of all, when we attempt the switchover, all automatical attempts to perform elections are blocked on this time for a switchover period, and the timeout period is set. The current leader becomes a follower node. The newly selected node becomes the new leader. And if a switchover process does not end within the established timeout that we set at the start, yes, the selected node becomes the follower. Yes, the node that we are selected by the function, set leader function. It will become the follower, and the whole new elections are performed to the whole cluster. Of course, BiHA supports automatic failover. It helps in the emergency situation when a leader fails and other nodes are performing the elections of new leader. And you know what's going on next. I told you the previous slide. In case of the network failures, when the current leader node within the isolated section of the network, so it cannot reach the other cluster nodes that operates normally, this leader lost the quorum and becomes the read-only standalone server. Yeah, it goes to read-only standalone mode. It is required to prevent a split brain situations when your applications can reach such cluster, but it's not reachable from other nodes that already elected the new leader. So you don't want to have two leaders, yes, simultaneously. So let's wrap up some topics about BiHA. BiHA is built into the Postgres Professional Enterprise Edition. It has easy installation instructions and configurations. It doesn't require any additional software besides Postgres Pro Enterprise Edition. It doesn't require any additional services or additional servers to get it up to work. BiHA allows you to operate the high availability cluster with failovers, switchovers, maintain mode, and so on. And Postgres Pro provides operational updates of BiHA solution without delays. So the next topic that I want to talk about is client request and some load balancing to the BiHA cluster. So the first and the popular option is libpq. libpq library is a standard libpq C library operator. And the goal here is to find the leader node by the target session address parameter. Yeah, it allows some values like read write, read only, primary, and this is how it's find the desired server. So on the right side you can see the example connection string. Yes, started with the PostgreSQL, several hosts and target session attributes read write. Equals read write. So it means that application will go through all of these hosts to find the read write session. So basically it goes to the first host, connects to it, asks if this connection is a read write. For example, it connects to the replica said no, I'm only read only. Connection is closed, next connection is opened on the host 2. again, it will ask if it allows or not the read-write connection, and if yes, we stay here. Yes. Also, same operators are applicable for other languages like Python, Java, Go, etc. And in case of the failures, it allows your application to automatically connect to the new leader. It automatically started this process again. Yes.
Why do you need vault transfer between the followers? Control protocol, I can understand, but why do we need vault transfer?
It's a mistake. It's one of mistakes here. Okay, the another popular option is HA proxy. It's the most popular tool that can handle some serious logic. It's easy to install, configure, and maintain. So basically, HA proxy is installed via one command and has configuration, text-based configuration that you can put via some Ansible or some bash scripts and so on. HA proxy has a graphical user interface and Prometheus format metrics that you can gather from your monitoring systems. So, and the first option on how to use the HA proxy with the BiHA cluster is to find the leader from the external script. So, as you know, Patroni has a REST API. If you know the Patroni. Patroni has the REST API, so we can connect to the Patroni REST API, get the nodes statuses, nodes role, and create some backends within the HA proxy. BiHA will have such options later, I believe, but for now, the first option is to get this server roles via our own custom script. But we have as a solution, we use HA proxy API that we can connect from the database servers. So HA proxy backends can be defined dynamically via this API. It's done by running callback scripts within the BiHA cluster. So every time the leader or when the one of the server role changes or failover occurs and so on, the callbacks are raised and our scripts call the go to the API and change the backends dynamically. So, for example, our old leader demoted. He sent that to HA proxy, delete me from the read-write backend. Yes. And the new leader elected, it sent a message to the HA proxy and said, add me to the read-write backend. So it's how it works, and it's much more faster than the standard Patroni elections, Patroni HA proxy configuration, and external script configuration. You have, of course, you have other custom solutions like TCP proxy Nginx. Yes, Nginx can proxy your queries to the database. You can set up a keep alive D. You can set up several IP addresses across all of your cluster nodes for the read-write, one IP for the read-write, one IP to read-only, and so on. But it's a difficult, a more complicated option, and you also need an external scripts to find, to change the roles and change the IP addresses between the servers. For example, one custom solution that I saw is a HashiCorp console service discovery plus console template and plus some TCP proxy. So the idea here is next. Console service discovery monitors the healthiness of the cluster nodes, and if the one of node is fails, it goes to the console template service, and console template changes the underlying Nginx or HA proxy configuration files. So console template is can create templates via Jinja 2, if you know what it is. So it can create a new configuration and reload Nginx or HA proxy. Maybe you can use a new or other proxy solution within it. And of course, you can use your own scripts, tools, etc., etc. for it. In conclusion about client connections, so libpq, your DBA team are not bothered on how the application finds the target session. Yes, it's almost on the application side. HA proxy, more flexible solution, but requires configuration and tuning and maybe its own HA. Yeah, you know, when you configure the HA proxy, it's the single point of entry to your cluster, and if it fails, no connections can pass to your cluster. So you need to think about your own HA proxy, HA, high availability. So there is two options, I believe. First of all, HA proxy has an enterprise solution, built-in HA enterprise solution, and basically you can bootstrap a second copy of your HA proxy server and make some DNS round-robin communication between them. Keep alive there. Not so flexible as HA proxy, but done its job well, and other solutions we don't recommend. How to backup your BiHA cluster. Let's review some popular tools to create and maintain backups. First of all, PG-based backup. It's a standard PostgreSQL backup tool. It's fast, flexible, but needs custom wrappers to operate. So you know, it only creates a backup, but you need to build retention periods around it. You need some automation. You need to create a repository for your backups with time dates stamps for it, and so on and so on. It needs a lot of work around it. WolG fast and has S3-like storage compatibility from the box. PG Backrest, another good tool with S3 compatibility. Barman, old but good tool. And our solution, PG Pro Backup. I called it multi-tool with multi-purposes. So the key features of PG Pro Backup. S3 compatibility from the box. Integrity control. It's validating backups on every stages of backup creating, on the start, on the end. You can validate already created backup. You can validate whole backup repository. You can validate the database already running database with the mcheck extension. Next, well-compressed incremental backups. Most processes in the PG Pro Backup, like backup, archive, restore, delete, validate, catch up, etc., can be run in the parallel mode. So it will be faster than in parallel. I mean that in multi-thread mode. Yes, it will be much more faster than one thread. It supports local and remote operation mode. So what it means, local mode, you can run it from the local machine where your DBMS database is installed, yes, and it can put the backup to the underlying storage, to the attached network storage, to the S3 storage from here, Yes, and also it has a remote mode where your backup server is geographically distributed, for example, from your cluster, and you connect from that backup server and fetch backups from one of your cluster nodes. Yes, it has a partial restore feature. It's when you want, for example, the restoring to restore only one database within your cluster. So for example, you have 100 databases within your cluster, but for now you want to restore only one database. We support it, but in this version, I believe all database schemas will be restored, but it will be empty. You need only just to drop these empty schemas. No data will be restored, only for the target database, but the schemas will be, but it will be empty. It has an interesting feature to synchronization of delayed replica. What it means, for example, you have a very lagging replica, and it can't catch the leader node somehow. So what do? You stop this replica, you run the PGPro backup in the catch-up mode. This mode is watching the difference between the replica and the leader server, create the differential backup on the fly, apply it on the replica in parallel mode, and start up your replica. So it can catch the leader node very fast. But if your replica is lagging because of some network issues and so on, it doesn't fix them, of course. This year we released a new version of PG. Yes? Yeah, the wall can be taken from the backup. PGPro backup can handle the wall type as well. So basically, the architecture of PGPro backup, the directory folders is your backups, and if you configure, is the second folder is for wall archive. You just need to configure the archive mode like not automatically. You need to just run two commands to initialize such leaders from the backup. No, one command to restore from backup, and the other command BiHA CTL to return it to the cluster. Okay. Sorry. So let's continue. This year we released PGPro backup, new version of PGPro backup. It's more powerful. It has new key features. It has a new replication protocol. It much more faster than the previous version. Remote mode does not require SSH anymore. So I don't mention for the remote mode we required SSH. It means that you need to configure the SSH keys distributed between all of the nodes. It's a pain for your DevOps team or DBA team. It's a pain for your security to rotate such keys and so on. So the new version doesn't require SSH anymore. It has improved partial database restore. It deletes these empty schemas by itself for now. It has a fuse file system feature. Fuse file system is how to say it? It's a lightweighted, fast file system that we can mount on the for example, backup server and directly mount one of our backups to it to do some operations on top of it. For example, to restore some data from the database, to validate this backup, and so on. And all this is compatible with backups created with previous versions of PGPro backup, of course. So, how to backup BiHA cluster? As usual, but we need to find the desired node, desired server, yes, from which we want to fetch the backups. If we have a HA proxy, let's use it. It's an easy way to find the desired cluster node. So, for example, you don't want to put the new additional load on your leader node, yes, and create backups from one of the follower. You can use a SQL interface, of course, to connect to the database, ask if it's a leader or not within the by the PGs and recovery interface. You can use your own bash scripts, you can use different tools, but the goals are pretty the same, is one, to find the desired node in the cluster. What else? By the PGPro backup, you can easily return one of the follower to the cluster. It was a question, yes, before. You can restore this follower from the backup by one command, and by another command return it to the cluster. Fast sync of severely lagging replica, I already talked about it. You can validate your backups. By validating your backups, I talk not only about validating future in PGPro backup, but it also need to be a process within your company. So you need to maybe monthly or weekly manual backup restoring. You can create an automatic backup restoring and check the status of it, but it's a very important part of your backup integrity. You can sync your backup to S3-like storage or tapes. And as I said, you can work with wall archive for point-in-time recovery. So in the conclusion, I want to say about some key topics again about BiHA. BiHA does not have disadvantages of external cluster software. It simplifies setup and configuration of physical replication. Yes, on one of the slide you can see, if I return that it's only one command to create the cluster, to add the follower, to convert the existing database to the BiHA cluster. It's very easy. Automatically elect the new leader in case of failure. Yes, it's about failover. Does not require additional infrastructure nodes, software, and network channels, and it's integrated to the Postgres Pro Enterprise Edition version 60 and newer. So here's the Q&A session, and yes, for the latest news, join our community at LinkedIn. You can scan the QR code. So, anyone found the error besides the wall replication? Yes? Three errors. Okay, we don't. Oh, we actually we have sucks and this, but only one for you. Okay, what errors? First. What's again? Spinning? Yeah. Oh, spinning tails. It's okay. So maybe I can return as one of my. Nobody?
No. Yeah.
Oh. Yes. Yes, you're correct. And oh, no, sorry. The question was here. Yeah. Sorry. Just nervous a little. For you, hour? Yeah, that's for you. Yeah. If you have any questions, it was pleasure to answer to them. Yes. How the restore works? Yes. It's pulling directly from the S3, and you can store the exactly the same structure on the file system, but and the same structure at the S3 storage level, the backups and the wall files. So when you restore your backups from the S3 storage, it pulls the latest or desired backup and pulls all needed wall files as well. Yes. It's pretty similar. Wall G is also pushing the. Wall E is old tool. Yes. Wall G is for. Yes. Wall G is for is wrote it on the Go language. Yeah, they rewrite it on the Go. Yeah. Any questions? Yes. In previous version. No. It's a physical. It's a physical restore. So all objects are restored too as well. So you don't need to recreate objects or so. Only the data, yes. Only the data for the target database will be imported, and other database will be empty. In the new version, it will be deleted automatically. Which one you accept the read-write connection? Yes. What about the primary is alias for the read-write. It's pretty the same.
And read-only is just for it will only connect to the followers.
Yes, it will only connect to the followers. Yes.
In a time, if you get 1,000 connections, it automatically reroute the connections.
No, libppq doesn't have a support for load balancing.
No waiting time in order to keep it.
Yes, waiting timeouts, retry timeouts, other timeouts are supported here. You can follow the documentation, libppq connect documentation here, and read all of the parameters that it received. You can receive. And
how do you maintain synchronization among the nodes? So is there any time server separately available, or do you just work on NTP?
What connection? What do you mean?
So among the nodes within a cluster, say you have a leader and followers. Okay, so there's always you do heartbeats checking.
Check heartbeat checking via BiHA control protocol. Yes.
Oh, okay. So you.
Yes, it's a interconnection. It's a part of the database itself. It's our own fork of PostgreSQL community version with such improvements. So one of its improvements is BiHA. It has a BiHA control protocol that allows the BiHA nodes to communicate with each other. They know heartbeats, statuses of nodes, and so on.
And do you have any use cases? I mean, till how much you have scaled, or in terms of the volume that how much we can withstand?
That our Postgres Pro Enterprise Edition handles, the cluster can handle too. So the hundreds and thousands of transactions per second and large databases. So HA is just an option to maintain, to make integrity for your database, but performance is the same for our solution, for our Postgres Pro solution.
No, I mean, why I ask this, because at the end of the day, so basically its data is going to one leader only, and then we have a follower. So on one node, it's a isn't it's a kind of a monolithic structure only that we are following?
Well, yes, it's if I understand you correctly, it worked pretty the same like a physical replication. It could not have several active nodes. Yes, you can scale up it horizontally for the read operations, yeah, and scale vertical leader node for the read-write operations.
So for this horizontal only, that the other one, I mean, yesterday I was asking, does that shardman comes
Yes,
into
we
play, right?
have different solutions for such cases that you said, yes, multi-master, shardman, and so on. You can go to our stand and we answer all your questions.
Yesterday also I
already?
bothered all you people with this
Okay.
starting only.
I see. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Already